what if I replace my co-host with a new one? God damn it.
Hello.
So we've been trying to get Chris around, but he knows Chris, don't worry. So I figured I'd get my friend Tom because I've been wanting to talk about these Marvel shows,
and we've been just talking about them.
So it's like
outside of it.
Yeah.
I watched the entire series,
and I forced you to watch it. What if because I told
you told me it was canon, and then I was like, okay, well now I gotta watch it.
Well,
I thought it was just like a fun little animated thing.
It is. But but what's funnier though is when I said Loki sets it up, you're like,
yeah,
of course it does.
Yeah. Well, Loki was amazing.
Yeah.
I'm caught up on everything Marvel except for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I have never watched that.
Which is fine because, like, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is good, right? It's very good. But at the same time, like, I watched the whole first season. The first season's great.
And what's that other Cloak and Dagger
and The Runaways?
Yeah, I haven't.
Those are under Disney's, like, Marvel
specials or legacy. That's not part of the MCU, right?
No.
So yeah.
But we just finished what it finished on Wednesday. We're here on a Saturday. So we were
what an episode! Oh my god.
Yeah, but we're gonna go down each of the episodes now we feel about them. So we'll go down with episode 1. What if Captain Carter was the first Avengers?
So are we gonna talk about what happened in?
We can just talk about like what
a general idea. Okay, so
yeah, like
basically every single episode. So what the series is about is, and they actually talk about this in Doctor Strange, I'm pretty sure, where they talk about points in the universe that change the paths of reality. So what it focuses on, and I believe that they talked about this a little bit in Loki also.
They talked about it more a little.
They call them divergent points or whatever they call them.
Nexus events.
Nexus events, that's what they call them.
And they talk about it in the Avengers Endgame where they kind of go like...
So basically what it focuses on is it's the Watcher watching over every single one of all the universes.
Played by that guy from Westworld. The guy with the glasses. The glasses.
The African American?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that he plays Watcher.
Yeah, he's also playing Commissioner Gordon in the Batman.
That's cool.
Yeah.
He's cool. He's good. He's really good in that.
Yeah.
He's still in the franchise.
Oh yeah, Bernard.
Bernard.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Bernard's doing what he does best: watching.
Yeah. Basically. Man.
They do make a reference to Bernard.
Don't spoil Westworld because that's a really good shot.
No. They do. No, they talk about Bernard, the character. Like they mention the name Bernard actually in What If.
Yeah. So anyway, getting back on topic. So basically, every single episode is about a single point in the history that if it went different, it creates an entirely alternate timeline.
Yep.
So what
like the butterfly effect.
Yeah, basically. So what this effect is it was the same thing that somebody invaded and kills the doctor that made the super soldier serum. So they had Steve Rogers on the table, but Steve Rogers actually ends up getting shot. And instead of Steve Rogers
just gets injured.
Yeah, he gets injured. So they're scared to give him the super soldier serum. So instead of wasting it, because they only have one shot at doing it since the doctor died, Peggy Carter goes on, which everybody was really against it because, the 60s or 40s.
40s.
Yeah, whatever it was. Yeah, 40s.
Yeah.
So she ends up taking the super soldier serum. It actually ends up working perfectly, which is funny because all the tests that they ran on him, like to make sure that he was the perfect candidate for it, and then she just happens to also be a perfect candidate.
Also, what makes her another perfect candidate, if you actually rewatch First Avengers, she actually went up, like if you didn't notice the detail, remember the dummy grenade? Yeah, she did the same thing.
Yeah.
So there was also that too.
And then a little bit later in the episode, she's like, "You owe me a dance," and I'm like, "It's so backwards."
I know.
Like, but so
we pretty much got a lot of interesting events that happened.
Yeah. So basically, she ends up taking up Captain America, but she wears a British flag instead.
Yeah, but she's not called Captain Britain because we already have that in the comics. So we're saving it for that.
Yeah, she's just she doesn't actually get like her captain name for a little bit.
No, she just doesn't. She just does. She just said, "Just call me Captain Carter."
Yeah, Captain Carter. Yeah. So, and then Steve ends up being fine, but he's sad that he didn't get the super soldier serum. So,
But it also proves, like, it's also just proof that in Steve's case,
he's still a hero no matter what.
he wants to do the right thing.
They make him a what is the thing called? It's called
the Hydra Stomper.
Hydra Stomper,
which is an Iron Man World War II suit of armor made by Daddy Stark himself.
Yeah, because it was stolen tech from Hydra.
Yep.
So it was one of the Hydra tanks that they took, and they reworked it as an Iron Man suit.
Yep.
And that was how Steve got to still be a hero in the 40s.
You want to hear something really interesting I found out? I don't know if this is true. I wish it was true. Remember the Rocketeer?
Yeah, the Rocketeer.
They're going to make that the suit instead.
Oh, God.
I was like, I would have loved that, actually. Just to be like, come on, Disney. You own so much stuff.
What ends up happening? So she ends up fighting in Steve's battles.
Yep.
They end up getting to that part where they go to the camp with Bucky.
Yep.
So they end up saving Bucky. The same thing ends up happening where like Hydra runs away, and then they end up saving Bucky and the whole group, and then Bucky is a little bit a lot more reluctant to follow her.
Yep.
Especially after, so they get past that, and then they find out about the train.
Yep. I love the line
scene, which is in the second one. No. In the second,
train. No, the first. The scene
it's still
in
in the first one. Oh yeah, when they go in the train.
The scene I love. We know my favorite line. The whole scene of the train. I almost lost my arm from that.
yeah, Bucky.
I was like, come on.
Because Bucky, instead of Bucky, this is another Nexus event where instead of Bucky getting lost, Captain Rogers or Steve, the Hydra, he ends up getting blown up.
Yeah. By the way, I forgot to tell you this, but remember Damien Dark, the actor that plays him?
Mm-hmm.
He's actually in the first Avenger, and he actually came back to play Dun Dun Dugan in this show.
Oh, that's great.
A lot of the actors do try to reprise their role.
Yeah, it's good as much as they can. I mean, they got the budget for it because it's Disney.
Here's the money.
Yeah, exactly. Here's my money. Take it. But basically, So the train scene happens. So Steve goes missing. Because then they reconvene and Bucky's even less trusting, and
yep.
They're in like a war meeting where they keep shitting on the Colonel, like
the Colonel just keeps shitting on them.
Yeah, and then they're like, "You're lucky that we even let you sit on these meetings." Like,
because I know he's also being super sexist.
Yeah, so
people take it the wrong way, but that was the 40s.
Oh, by the way, Stark made the robot. If we didn't say that,
that's why I said Daddy Stark.
Yeah, and he made the shield also. He gives her the better shield. And then
he made the shield and everything.
He also said that the suit is indestructible. So later on, when they go and raid the last Hydra base, like the movie, they do find out that Steve is still alive because that thing is indestructible.
And it's powered by the Tesseract.
Yeah, and
we forgot about that.
Tesseract. Yeah,
that's how they use the core.
Yeah,
that's my fault.
They did have the Tesseract for a second.
Yeah.
I think they got it from the first camp. Then they lost it on the train. No, they lost it. When did they lose it?
They lost it right when they got to the train because remember the Hydra Stomper did power it.
Right, yeah.
So.
Right, I forgot about that. And then they took it back, and it went a little more crazy this time though.
Yeah.
So when they get to the last camp, so like they're fighting off the soldiers, and then Captain Carter goes up and finds Red Skull.
Yep.
And he's opening up a portal instead of trying to just use it for power. And then
unlimited power.
Fucking tentacle monster comes out of the portal and just fucking eats him.
You know what's funny about Red Skull, actually? Remember when we went to go see Infinity Wars?
Mm-hmm.
The same actor from The Walking Dead plays the Red Skull from Infinity Wars. He's actually kind of playing like, oh, what if...
Which actor?
I can't remember his name, but I know it's the same guy. He's in there's so many actors in The Walking Dead.
There is a lot.
But
10, 11...
But the guy that did the scene, on Vermeer...
Mm-hmm.
It's the same actor that did the Red Skull for this What If.
Oh, that's cool.
So it was kind of like, what if Red Skull played by a different actor?
It's fine. It doesn't have to be the same because it's cartoon, as long as it's close.
Yeah, and like I said, it's just funny when people don't realize it, and you didn't realize that.
Also, one thing I want to say is that Marvel is really bad when it comes to animated stuff. But luckily, since it's done by the MCU...
It's its own little studio, and plus Kevin Feige is now taking over Marvel.
Yeah, and since it's in a lot more interesting, because usually the how it's always been, literally always been, is that Marvel animated suck and their movies are great, and then DC animateds are like top notch, awesome, better than the movies by like a long shot.
Yep.
And it's always been like that.
It's always been like that. And I always say, like, if you don't like the movies, go watch TV shows. If you don't like, and
like Teen Titans and like Young Justice, like the Justice League, like all those are, they're so insanely good. Like there's so, and then Batman 2020.
Batman animated series. Oh, Batman Beyond.
Yeah.
I gotta buy that Blu-ray.
Yeah, like Static Shock. Like it can go on like with the amount of just amazing like TV shows that there are for DC.
And don't forget the direct-to-DVD stuff.
That's what I'm saying. Like the Red Hood movie.
That's what I started you off as.
Yeah, that's a fucking.
You were like.
That's a dark one.
You were like, wait, there's a second Robin before Tim Drake?
Mm-hmm. I mean, not to like boast DC or anything, but like they're animated. It's like they're in a whole nother league than
Some people will say their animation sucks. I'm like, I don't think so. Like,
I don't care about the quality.
I want
it's
story.
What the content is.
I want the story.
Not saying that Marvel's content is boring. It's just a lot of the like animation / what they do / the people who play the characters are kind of bad.
Yeah.
As where like you look at DC and it's just all stars.
Yeah,
like Mark Hamill.
Jake for the new Batman Longest Halloween.
Yeah.
We're getting off the subject.
yeah, it's fine.
But I'm just saying, like, a good example is they got Jake and Ackles for Batman for Longest Halloween.
But I feel like it's hard to not talk about What If and not talk about how naturally Marvel's animateds are terrible.
Yeah, but it's also like this is the Marvel Studio equivalent, so it's like,
and it's different. It's more done like almost like a. It's not really like a real animated. It's more like a. I don't even know what to compare it to.
I would just say
I can't think of another show that has that style of animation.
Ruby.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of close to a video game. It kind of gives me like Telltale vibes.
Oh
like
yeah,
Telltale games.
Yes,
like The Walking Dead and stuff.
Yes.
I guess like that's the only thing that I could really compare it to is that like
animation
really
style.
cheap budget animation style, like almost like with that Borderlands layer to it. With like But okay, so. As far as the first episode goes, like getting kind of off topic.
Yeah, sorry about that.
But I, feel like we should talk about it because normally their animation's kind of bad. But this is really good. The quality was fine, but they're only 30-minute episodes, so it doesn't really matter.
It's not like 2-hour movies.
It's about the content anyway, because everybody wants to see the what ifs now that Loki set up the multiverse.
Yep.
So like, everybody's so interested.
I mean, did you see? Have you not remember once you show off the Loki variant, the one of them won the Tour de France.
Yeah.
Come on.
And then the gator. Oh God, what a fucking.
That everyone wants to have that. Everybody wants that gator.
He's got to show up again. He's got to show up.
No, they wanted to give him. Everybody wants him to give him his own spin-off.
Yeah, that's great.
Loki gator.
That Loki was the best animated that they did. Period.
Not animated show.
Show. I mean, yeah. Sorry. WandaVision was great, but Loki ended up being like 100 times better.
Yeah, I had a feeling Loki. It was just weird.
Even though it had less episodes.
Yeah.
But okay, so the last episode ends with Captain Carter having to go. Have to fight basically Cthulhu. Just some squid monster from the abyss, which is funny because squid monsters come back in another What If later on.
The same one, believe it or not.
Is it the same?
Yeah.
Is it a really like character?
It's a real character. I can't remember the name.
I don't know which What If he's in, so I don't want to say it yet.
No, we're going down the list. We'll get down.
Yeah, I don't remember which one he's
gonna be in the fourth one.
Okay, so yeah, we'll talk about it more because we can get more into detail because he's way more interested in it. This is just a happenstance. So basically,
instead of her getting frozen,
she saves the Tesseract, and instead of so Steve shows up and they fight it together. They end up getting it closed, and she fights with a sword.
Yep.
Which is hilarious to me.
Nice. The whole gives you that night vibe.
Mm-hmm. Which is funny because Eternals is coming up soon, and there's going to be the guy with that.
Oh yeah, by
Black Ebony or whatever his
Black
name
Knight.
Is. Yeah, Black Knight.
That's literally
which is Jon Snow.
Yeah,
you know that's Jon Snow.
Funny thing that they actually make a reference to that.
How could they not? How could they not?
No, they make and one of us will come back as the Black Knight. And I remember the first season. Okay?
How could they not?
It was just funny that it's like, wow, it was like a prophecy.
Yeah, right? Like, from one swordsman. Okay, but anyway, so
we can't have Captain Britain yet.
And then instead of getting frozen, she gets pulled through
time and space.
Yeah.
And gets sent to the point of 2012 instead of waking up in a hospital. Mm-hmm.
She gets sent through the Tesseract. She gets sent through the Tesseract. And
freaking tangents.
yeah, it's fine. It's good. That's how Marvel
That's how podcasts work.
Yeah, but since it's in like a train, basically, like you kind of have to talk about the other stuff to talk about it, you know?
Yeah.
Because like if people have no idea what we're talking about, then we're kind of just jumping in between things. So.
Yeah. Plus ADHD kicks in.
Yeah, exactly. 2 ADHD kids here.
Yeah.
Like, it's bad.
So, it's really bad.
Yeah. So she ends up in the future and where Avengers started, where like Captain Rogers wakes up in the first Avengers movie.
Yep.
And that's where.
And if I remember, the guy who plays Hawkeye, I can't remember his name.
I don't know.
Jeremy Renner.
Jeremy Renner.
Yeah, he came back for a prize role, and Samuel Jackson, just for that little
I'm
role.
sure Scarlett is, or she. I'm sure that what's her face is going to be doing anything for a while. Scarlett Johansson.
Actually, they did. The whole thing got settled.
I know it did.
But I think she's probably not doing anything for a while, probably because.
Isn't it? It's we talk about all these names, and it just as like a little side. It's crazy to think of the celebrities that are in
the MCU.
Like, and we're getting like Angelina Jolie also, and like that's a massive name, like like a top tier like.
Oh yeah.
Eternals, like, man.
She's playing a gender-bended character of Ajax, but
yeah.
they wanted the character to be more motherly, not fatherly.
And I don't know what his
which I can understand.
And I don't mean to just use his race, but there's that really funny Indian guy.
Oh, I know you're talking about.
I love him.
He's in Silicon Valley.
Yes, he's so fucking funny.
You know he got ripped just for that movie. He said, if I'm going to be in these superhero movies, if I ever want to be in there, I got to get jacked.
I love him. Yeah, like he's a great actor. He's been in a couple movies that I've watched, and I can't recall them.
I don't blame you because you can't remember the name. I can remember just.
I cannot remember. He's newish. That's why. I don't remember. Like he's only been in a couple things.
Yeah,
but anyway,
I don't blame you.
Not getting onto Eternals because I'd want to talk about that first.
Well,
so let's get to the second.
That's probably me and my friend are probably gonna go watch that. But I'll ask if you want to come with us.
Yeah, we can start going seeing them again because now that I'm but yeah,
we're all vaccinated.
Yeah.
I talked to my friend AJ and be like, yeah, I'll have no problem.
Yeah. Okay. So the second one.
Yeah, second one. What if T'Challa became Starlord?
Oh, this is a weird.
This one is funny. Why is T'Challa a better Starlord than Starlord?
So they didn't actually explain it, by the way. So they basically. I get okay.
They kidnapped the wrong kid.
Yeah, basically, they kidnapped the wrong kid. So it's supposed to be destined that he's supposed to get kidnapped because he's linked to the planet. One of the. Speaking of Eternals, he's one of the celestial. He's
tiny. I can't remember how he says it. Tiny.
Yeah, he. I forget what his actual villain name is, but he's
Eon the Living Planet.
Yeah.
Ego the Living.
He's
Planet.
one of the oldest living things in the universe. So,
yeah, just so you know,
he humped with Chris Pratt's mom.
Just so you know, him being a celestial
is he a celestial or is he above that?
He's a below that in the MCU, but that's exclusive to the MCU.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so he
hilariously that was part of a trade.
Okay, so talking about this because this links to Starlord, so we can have a mini conversation about how this works. So there's one creator in the MCU, right? That made the omniscient. What are they called? Because the Celestials come after that layer.
Yeah.
And I forget what the layer after the one being that created everything is called.
Yeah, the one is called the Eternity or something.
Yeah.
Because just so you know, they mention it in the Guardians of the Galaxy. Mm-hmm. What do you see? Eternity.
Right.
And then and later on we find out they mention.
Yeah, then there's a layer of these omniscient beings who created the Divergence and the Celestials who created the Eternals and the Divergence.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, Thanos is an Eternal.
Yeah, which
I'm sure that they might talk about in the movie.
They did. They were talking about that actually.
Yes. And if you go down long enough, that planet and Starlord, original Starlord, like Chris Pratt's character, is related. If you go back far enough, he is related to Eternals and Celestials and everything.
Yeah.
So he's in the family tree of Thanos and Gamora, who are also Eternals. They're both Eternals. Even though he has no he has no.
Actually, Gamora isn't a.
Oh right, because she got stolen from planet, right?
Yeah, she got adopted.
Yeah, right. I forgot that he doesn't have any actual children.
Nope.
So Okay, so basically he's kind of like destined to have a future about that kind of stuff. And they did, I think in the show they showed them going to Wakanda and picking him up, but I guess they just missed.
Yeah.
Because I guess that's the point, like that Watcher is looking over is which child gets taken.
Yep.
And what's funny though is he ends up being a better Starlord.
That's what I said that.
Yeah. Because like if you see in the show some of the so the first thing that happens
in the movie there's like that's how you know Diverge.
Yeah, I forget that other actor who's
I know he has a really weird name, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he has a very
have you might have heard of me.
Yeah, he has a
Starlord.
He's got like the yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Starlord. Oh my God, Starlord! God, that whole...
because Starlord, in this show, he is stealing something in the first episode.
Same thing.
Yeah, he ends up fighting characters, uses his gravity wells, like his famous thing, and then he beats them.
Makes one of them turn to his side,
which is funny because he's still got that like strong Wakandan-ness in him too. But then
leadership.
We go to the Ravagers.
And they're heroic characters.
Yeah, and they're Robin Hood-like characters now. They're not just, I'm stealing everything and murdering everybody, so the Guardians never need to be formed.
Yeah.
So the team that's in this show, instead of the Guardians being formed, is the Ravagers. So one of everybody's favorite characters.
Yeah, and here's the good thing. Here's the difference between this one and this one. This one, they just took one thing and see where it goes slightly. It's like almost like a different movie. When you watch the first episode, this is more like, everything's different.
Because one big thing that I want to mention is in the first like 5 minutes. That's why I think I stopped it right there. Thanos.
We still played by Josh Brolin, by the way.
Yeah. Thanos,
they got him back for that one.
So Thanos. So this changes a lot.
Yeah.
So they end up going to Thanos' planet, and he beats him
by talking him down.
Yeah, by talking him down. So yes, Naruto's talking no jutsu.
No, it's Gokuing.
Oh, well, Goku, I feel like Naruto's stronger.
No. Goku just just beats them up and then they become friends.
Yeah, well,
or bites them.
For some or blows them up. Yeah. So
that's where it comes from for me.
Yeah, so Thanos ends up joining the Ravagers.
Yeah.
He ends up being like part of the sort of Guardians.
Talks him out of genocide.
Yeah, but he still talks about it, which is funny because he's like,
it ain't genocide.
I think it was a great plan. He's like, dude, that sounds like genocide. He's like,
no, it's just random selection.
It's just random selection. He's like, I still think it was a good plan. He's still tough. Because like when they're at parties and stuff like that, they show him in the background like talking about it. He's like, it's just
still a great plan.
He's like, it's still a great plan. He's like, I'm just not gonna go through with it.
Yeah.
So basically, he's like their Drax, and like because what's funny is in the first scene when you meet the Ravagers, Thanos is there. You see Gamora. She's like all done up.
Oh no, that's not Gamora.
Oh no, that's Nebula. The robot Nebula. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah. No, it's fine. Don't worry.
Right. She has hair, so it kind of threw me off anyway. But yeah, so Nebula shows up, and Drax is actually the bartender, and he never had to become a Guardian because since Thanos got talked down before he started breaking all the planets, which I think he did a couple, because I remember they said that he was the top underground kingpin, like before they beat him and then took him out of that, because they go and fight with another one. But basically, because Thanos never killed his planet, he just is a bartender, and he knows Starlord, so he asked for a photo. He's like, my wife's gonna love that. He's like, my wife and kids are gonna love that.
Yeah, I think you blinked. Let's get another one.
He's like, I look great. You look terrible. So they had Drax in there a little bit for us.
My problem with that one was like Dave Bautista wasn't in there, but I understand why.
It's fine.
I understand why.
Like I said, I'm gonna give them like benefit of the doubt because they're already spending so much time in the movies, and like it's fine.
Small. It's like
this is supposed to be a small 30-minute.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. It was very. No, his role in there was small. It wasn't like drastic.
Yeah, exactly. So
it didn't like I get it. I understand why.
It was like a 5-second role, and then Nebula shows up and is talking about the Watcher. Or not the Watcher, sorry, the Collector.
The Collector.
Yeah.
The Watcher's watching everything.
Yeah, which, by the way, the intro is really cool because they play the thing and then they show him in, like, the...
What if,
like, because he's watching all the galaxy, or all the universes at the same time.
Yeah.
So, basically, Gamora shows up. I forget what she says. Like why did they go to the Collector again?
They wanted to drop off the Power Stone.
No, they didn't, because they wanted to rob his bank or something.
Oh yes, they were doing a heist.
Yeah, they were doing a heist because they were tired of the Collector.
That's right. We got more Howard the Duck in that one too.
Yeah, because they save him. So they get there, and they come up with this plan with Nebula, and at first it looks like when they get there she turns on them, but then it ends up being this whole elaborate plan because Starlord plans end up being kind of crazy.
They're just crazy in general.
Nebula explains that the Collector is going to try to take him. Like he has he understands that they're probably going to try to steal. So he gets there and he ends up getting trapped in one of the but then Nebula ends up turning on them and also
he also finds out that Wakanda, like later on, while getting captured with with a little bit with Howard the Duck, which is amazing. We got more.
Yeah, because Windu, is it Zandu? How do you say his name with the Mary Poppins? Zandu? Yondu. That's what I knew. It's the wire. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't worry. I get that. There's so many names.
Somewhere around there. So, because they're like best friends in this because he turned him into Robin Hood.
Yeah.
Because he made him a better person, which kind of makes me think that if Chris Pratt's character stayed with them longer and instead of trying to run away, would they have gone in that direction?
Nah. He seems like.
Yeah, I don't know, but
just the way he seems like it.
Because he ends up turning at the end on when they're in the second one.
Yeah,
like he ends up being like he wants to be a better person. And he could show it. Like he cares more about Chris Pratt's character than the entire Ravagers.
Yeah, you're right.
Like because spoiler alert, he dies. So I mean that's probably I think anybody who's watching it probably already knows it. Yeah, and but. The rule of the Marvel Universe is, though, if you never find the body, the character's not actually dead, so, we don't know.
Well, the body was frozen.
Oh, right. You know what?
We saw the daddy die. Right. Like the G-Space going...
Right.
He may be your daddy, but he isn't the one that raised you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
But, so, basically, they go to the Collector, he fights them, and he has all these crazy weapons.
Don't forget, before they fought the Collector, he also found out that Wakanda did send ships into outer space.
Yes, looking for him, and that Wakanda's not actually destroyed.
Yeah.
But he gets over that really quickly.
Well, yeah, when you're doing a show and a half an hour, you're like, okay, show's almost over. Let's get this going.
Exactly. Like, he kind of just, like whatever.
Yeah, he slots himself. Yeah, but he got all that stuff, so apparently he did beat Thor up, Captain America, and Helena.
Yeah.
As soon as I was like, come on, put the Helena on.
Yeah, like, where did he get that? He got the knife that can throw more, like, I was like, what?
Yeah, that was Helena's stuff.
I know, like.
It's all from the helmet.
Yeah, so.
All about the good hair.
Yeah, so, basically, they end up beating him. They set everybody from the collection free. They get what they wanted, and then they leave.
Yep.
What else happens?
They brought T'Challa
Oh, he goes
home.
to Wakanda. Yeah. He actually goes to Wakanda.
Yeah, and meets his old family with his new family.
Mm-hmm.
And then it ends with a cliffhanger where you meet Ego, played by the same actor, beating up with Peter Quill, and then working at a Dairy Queen for the second movie. But here's the funny thing: that this is actually the last thing Chadwick Boseman actually did before he died.
Yeah.
And I found out this really interesting. He said as many opportunities they wanted to, they really wanted to get. He wanted to play Black Panther no matter what iteration, as much as he wanted to. Also, that was one of the considerations to a spinoff.
That's like Nick Fury.
Yeah.
That man works so much.
Yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson is in so many things.
Oh, yeah.
He works. He's in tons of commercials. Like, I see him on ads on TikTok all the time. Like, he's a working man. He's a
workaholic, which works into the next one. What if the world lost its mightiest heroes? Which is actually a Nick Fury-centric episode.
This is a scary one.
This is a murder mystery.
Yeah, I was surprised that they did this. Because as far as people who like the MCU, this is like a dark... Like, I imagine kids, like, watching this and they're like, oh, my favorite heroes died.
So much fake outrage.
And in, like, bad ways, too. Like, they weren't nice. That, like, what happened to Hulk? Okay, all right. Like,
what's funny about that one? I'll tell you. We'll talk that one later.
And then also, not to spoiler alert with the zombies one.
Zombies later.
Yeah, that's also along that lines. Like, but I was shocked that they chose to do those.
I was actually really shocked they went to zombies.
Yeah, or just like really killing the characters. But I guess since it's animated, they have a little bit of leeway. But I'm surprised that that's like Disney approved.
Don't forget, it's like, well, we're not really killing our characters. We already killed Iron Man. Not in the way we thought we would, but...
Yeah, and Captain America's gone.
Yeah.
Not really gone. They could just go get him when they feel like it.
Yeah.
Like, literally whenever they really need him, they're just going to go get him.
Yeah, but pretty much, I can just shorten in the best way possible. We can talk about each of the deaths. Pretty much, it's a Black Widow, Nick Fury-centric episode where somebody's murdering each of the Avengers. Mm-hmm. So, like, Tony Stark gets...
But to put it where it is. So, it's where the first...
Iron Man 2.
Iron Man 2, yeah. It's where Iron Man 2 starts, and then Thor and...
all the movies.
All the movies are starting to, like, happen. Like Hulk and... Well, not Hulk, but, basically, it's where Nick Fury's trying to collect the Avengers.
Yep. The Avengers Initiative.
And then they just start getting killed off.
Yep, one by one.
I cannot believe Thor actually died. Like,
yeah, well, he was human at that time.
So, without spoiling it, it's Hulk dies first.
It was Iron Man that dies first.
Oh, Iron Man dies first,
and then Hulk
to like a suit malfunction.
Hulk, though, fun thing about the Hulk though is like that's taking place during Edward Norton's Hulk. So you have Mark Ruffalo doing the Edward Norton Hulk.
Yeah.
Which is like so funny when you watch that.
Yeah. But it's fine. Because I mean they're never gonna get him again because he asked for way too much money.
Oh no, there was other things too. He was like, well, he had a lot of he was like in the editing room controlling a lot of the rewrites and everything.
Yeah, which no, we're not putting out of that. But yeah, so basically,
that's pretty much what happened.
So Iron Man dies to like a suit malfunction. The Hulk blows up.
Yep, from the inside out.
So Hawkeye shoots Thor, which gets him put in Shield prison.
Oh no, and then he gets.
And then Hawkeye gets killed from like a poison or something. And then
Black Widow dies too. Yeah, she dies in that one.
Did she?
Yeah.
Because I thought that they like killed her, but she didn't die immediately, and then she.
No, she dies like near the end.
Right. When she's in that library, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because she's looking into what happened, and then she figures it out, and talks to Fury about it.
Yep.
And then what ends up happening is Fury ends up going in to like a graveyard where Hank Pym shows up.
Yep.
Really mad because his daughter died in the line of duty as a shield.
That's why Black Widow got killed. She found out.
Yeah, because she found out. Yeah. So they have a fight in the. So we find out that he flew an Iron Man suit, blew it up, overloaded Hulk with gamma
rays.
Yeah, and then
Thor. He just like Fury gonna get him.
No, Thor.
No, he knew that Fury was going to try to recruit him.
Yeah, so...
also, the big plot twist is Loki comes in going, you killed my brother.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we forgot about that.
Oh, fuck, I forgot about that. Loki showed up after Thor died, and there's this whole leaming thing going... So they're all going to die. I'm so sorry. Yeah, Loki... Yeah, Loki
we're trying to shorten it.
Yeah, Thor dies, and... So that leaving, they said in 24 hours, you have like 3 days or something.
Yeah.
And the time's running out. Black Widow figures it out at like close to the end of the time. And basically, Nick Fury goes and talks to Loki and tells him he figures out what happened. And also, Thor died by, he messed with Hawkeye's hand and made him shoot even though he didn't want to shoot. So, and then he just went and killed Hawkeye with like a poison or something.
Yep.
And Hank Pym killed all the Avengers before he could start the initiative.
Yeah.
And which, to be completely honest, if anybody can kill them, Ant-Man is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
When
you're small.
Yeah, like you have kind of like,
I got the strength and the sneak approach.
I even think Thor in his best form, like he could figure out a way because he's also a genius. So that's the other thing that like the new Ant-Man doesn't have because this is Hank Pym.
Yeah.
Like the genius, the original Ant-Man, been Ant-Man for a really long time,
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
And then, which is funny because he's linked to another story He's the zombies thing also. But,
yeah, we'll talk about that one
because
when we get to it.
they don't have. What's funny is I feel like he comes up a lot because they don't have like a Fantastic Four. They don't have a lot of scientists to choose from, and now that Iron Man's dead, we really only have which is why
oh no, we have like
Bruce Banner showed up at the end of Shang-Chi, or
yeah,
because we don't really have a lot of scientists left,
Dylan is Slang, by the way.
Yeah, there's also Thor's Jane.
Yep.
Yeah, so there's a couple,
yeah,
but not like up to like Hank Pym or like Iron Man level,
yeah, no, I get it.
And when Reed Richards finally comes in, that's gonna be the guy.
Yeah, it's gonna be the guy.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, we find out the murder happens, and then Loki takes over. We find the murderer. I'm trying to get through everything so we can get it.
Yeah. So they're in the graveyard.
Yeah.
So
made a deal with Loki.
Loki shows up because Fury ends up fighting Hank, and it's kind of funny because Loki he's keeping up with him and punching him, and then it turns out that Loki is actually
assisting for illusions.
Because he showed up as Fury. So Loki is actually he's disguising himself as Nick Fury. So and then the funny thing is Asgard puts itself in the United Nations and sets themselves up as the
world power.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
America's no longer the world power.
Yeah, no. So they set themselves up in the actual world, kind of like Wakanda does in Black Panther, where they are the God country, but they kind of stay quiet until Black Panther happens.
Yeah, but they're like, no, we're taking over the planet because you guys will be, like Loki says, it'll be so much easier. You're gonna be made to be ruled.
Mm-hmm.
And then Nick Fury said the Avenger Initiative was an idea, which kind of gives you the idea of it was you can get anybody to be an Avengers as long as you know they're qualified for it.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end, Nick Fury activates his beeper that we all know about, and then he finds Captain America unfruitful.
So I think the blip or the event is his daughter, Hank Pym's daughter.
Yes,
because she's not supposed to die.
Yes,
she's supposed to last all the way through Ant-Man, which means that Paul Rudd's character never shows up.
Yep.
So there isn't going to be an Ant-Man in that universe. So that's the point.
Yeah,
is his daughter dying.
Yep. So that's pretty much it for that one.
Mm-hmm.
That one was we're trying to make it short.
Yeah.
This one is, what if Doctor Strange lost his heart?
Oh yeah. Okay. So here's the one that we were talking about.
This is the one that is really interesting, but at the same time, kind of like.
It's also the only one that ends in a weird way.
No, every one of these are what the fuck. This is the one that ends in whoa.
Yeah. So basically, the story,
remember, if you driving with your cell phone, it'll get you a car accident and get you magical powers. That's the point of Doctor Strange.
Yeah. So, getting car accidents, obviously not. We're joking.
I know. It just seems like that's the message.
Yeah, exactly. So what the difference here is that instead of the car crash, so first off, he was alone in the movie. He never had anybody else in the movie.
Nope.
So the difference is that he's more in a relationship with what's her face?
I would say her in the comics. She's
April. What's her?
I don't even remember her name, but I do know her name.
She's not in the movie a lot.
No, she isn't.
I forget her name. For the MCU, is it?
Well, I know I know her in the comics. She's called Night Nurse. That's right.
No, I know that, but Night Nurse in the MCU. Yeah.
Rachel. Thank you, Google.
Wait. So hold on.
No, wait. No, her name is Chris. No, her name is Christine. No.
Christine. Yeah. So
Rachel's the actress.
Rachel's the actress that plays her. Yeah. Rachel McAdams, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I have it all right here.
Yeah. So
thank you.
Wait, but Night Nurse is also in the Netflix show.
Yeah, there's two of them.
Yeah, but I'm sure that they're not gonna, dude. If they brought back what's her face, because what's her face plays Night Nurse in the Netflix show.
I know her name.
It's
Rosario Dawson.
Rosario Dawson.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but they said they're only bringing certain characters in. I'd like to see Luke Cage and the main ones like the Punisher.
Yeah. But anyway, back to Doctor Strange.
So basically, Doctor Strange. So
much tangents.
Yeah, because we had to find the name. So Christine they're in a better relationship than in the movie. So they end up going out, and he's driving. And when the car accident happens, she dies. Yeah, she dies instead of him losing his hands.
Yeah.
And this makes him go in a weird direction because he still ends up getting powers.
And the events of them happen.
Yeah, so all the Avengers stuff happens and things like that. But what ends up happening in the end...
Well, no, only up to Dormammu.
After Dormammu.
Yeah.
Because he gets the time stone, yeah. So what ends up happening
Which is kind of weird.
There's two... which we find out that the master, the head of the wizard, of the, I forget what her name is. She splits himself into two.
The Ancient One.
The Ancient One. That's what her name is. Yeah. So she splits him into two, and one continues being Doctor Strange and gets over Christine. The other one never does. Yep. Tries to go back in the past and spends like almost a millennium, like in the car accident, dying because he has the time stone. Yeah. Trying to figure out how he could save her, and I believe that the Watcher even shows up at one point.
Well, what happens is he goes through time and space, going through multiple different directions how to save Christine, but
like never going there, and like then getting pizza.
The Ancient One comes in and says it is a fixed point; it has to happen no matter what.
Yeah. So like, but the crazy thing is like they even like never go like in a car, like they just get pizza across and the place blows up. Like it's just unavoidable. Like no matter what he does, like he spends like an unsurmountable amount of time there.
The point is, it was a fixed point.
Yeah, so there's nothing he can do about it. So what he does is he doesn't like to listen, so he goes back farther because he remembers hearing about these lost tomes of
the books.
The books of I forget what they're called. Because they're like
Cthulhu or something.
Yeah. So like it's the books that they all study, and like the tomes.
These are the forbidden ones.
Yeah, and he finds the guy that created them.
Yep.
And he goes back and...
Or is he? He
goes back and like reads through the library, spends a millennium there, and then the guy ends up dying actually, and he gives him like a speech about how like he'd rather die, and not be alive because he could basically make himself immortal, and he chooses not to be.
Yeah, but what he does though during that millennium, he absorbs a bunch of different creatures, and
because he learns in one of the books. Because first thing that he did at his own place was he tried to summon a creature stronger than him to ask to get his power, kind of like to bargain. So it ends up being that Cthulhu creature that showed up, with Captain Peggy Captain Carter, and he gets his ass kicked, and so he goes back and figures out that you could absorb these creatures to steal their powers. So he starts off small, and then just eventually ends up being able to absorb...
I love the cockroach.
Yeah.
Nice cape.
Yeah. He ends up able to absorb these characters, and he takes on this really dark, really bad persona, goes down a really dark hill. Like that Batman comic where he starts using guns, basically. Think of it like that.
There's one of the Dark Knights is actually the Punisher version of Batman, and... uses the whole city as his weapon.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of the best
way there's a lot of points where, like, Batman thought about murdering, which is funny because in the Titan show, they used that because of what happened with Jason Todd.
Yeah.
The Joker actually
We'll get to Titans one day, don't worry.
Yeah, because the Joker actually does get murdered by Batman because of what happens to Jason Todd.
Yeah.
Because they did the Red Hood in the New Titans, and oh my god. A lot of things happen.
Yeah, let's get back to Doctor Strange.
Yeah. So basically, he went down a dark path, and so he spends a lot of time there, and then goes back and is able to save her.
Well, don't forget he had to fight himself.
But
before,
right? So the Ancient One tells him that if he doesn't stop himself from fucking with this point, then the entire universe is going to fold in. Which we learned about this in Loki.
Yep.
We know that this is a thing because there are certain points that they said that if they don't happen, the entire universe folds in on itself.
The sacred timeline.
Which is how they were hiding in places because they were like points in time where the world's already ended. So like they were basically hidden in like, you know, it didn't matter what they did. They were called like I forget what they were called, but like you could do whatever you wanted and nothing bad could happen. Like,
yeah, if you're in this certain point.
Yeah, so like that's how they were hiding. And so he ends up fighting himself and losing
And
to the
absorbing
dark
himself.
side and absorbing himself. He ends up saving Christine, but then the universe folds in on itself, killing her, and he ends up being the only one alive because he's keeping himself alive with his magic. And then the Watcher just leaves him there.
He begs him. He actually like goes, "I know you're watching me," and that's like
because he gets so strong that he's the first person that they showed that can sense him.
Yeah. But what I liked about it is like the Watcher doesn't really interfere. He just kind of gives him a lecture.
His code is he's not allowed to interfere.
Yeah.
He just gives him a lecture about like, you know, you can't like, you know, give into your own personal, you know,
demons or whatever. But still, that was a good way of ending it. And Doctor Strange,
Doctor Strange became the first person we saw that was aware of the universes and could see the Watcher.
Yeah. But also, Doctor Strange is like, the ending is so dark because like he's now sentenced to be sentenced to relive the moment she dies over and over again, which is insane. And it just goes and fades into black and it ends. Now, this is one way of going into one thing into another. Actually, we're gonna go talk about what ifs, and I love the name of it. What if zombies? This one takes place during Infinity War at the beginning instead of.
Yes.
Because
if you remember with Ant-Man 2, the second Ant-Man.
Yeah.
It takes place around the second Ant-Man.
Yeah.
So, because remember they go into the small world, into the quantum.
Well, no, we gotta talk about how it first starts off first, like how the Hulk gets beamed in, and then all of a sudden he's like, everything's familiar. But then
because it takes place. So in the actual comics, the Hulk comes back no, that's right, because Thanos, you know, the thing happened with Thanos.
Yeah,
this actually happened because he drops in on Doctor Strange,
and then he's kind of like our point of view.
Right, I forgot.
Like, what's going on here?
And Hulk has never met Doctor Strange or anything.
Nope.
So like,
he sees Wong.
It's after. It's right after the Hulk, the last Thor movie.
Yeah.
When they all get stuck on the ship and Hulk gets sent back.
Yep.
He falls into New York, and he tells them about like what's coming, and then everything ends up being zombies, and we find out that it comes from
the Quantumverse.
The Quantumverse, where they were going to try and save Hank Pym's wife.
Yep.
It turns out that she had spent too much time in the Quantumverse and got like a quantum virus that turned her into a zombie, and she bit Hank, and she drove herself out of there. Because these version of the zombies
are smart.
Yeah. So they can still use their powers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they get out, you know, and then they end up biting some of the characters.
Yep. The Avengers went to San Francisco, where Ground Zero is.
Yeah. So zombies start happening.
Black Panther was there too, by the way.
Yes. So who's left at the time? It's like Wong. Is Wong still left?
No, Wong was a zombie. Doctor Strange was a zombie, and then you see zombie Tony Stark.
Yeah. So I can't even remember who was left.
It was Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Happy Hogan, which Jon Favreau did come back for that.
Was it Iron Man's wife?
Pepper? No.
Who was the redheaded girl? There was a random girl that was just using a gun. Was that not Pepper?
No, that was Sharon Carter.
Oh, Sharon Carter. Right. The Shield, right?
Yeah.
What a horrible team to have left, you know?
I mean, a Winter Soldier.
And then, you know, eventually Ant-Man's head, but we'll get to that. Winter Soldier.
And then also this Happy Hogan. Oh my God.
Yeah, Happy. What a guy.
Bam.
So they slowly start dying as they're trying to defend the areas, but then they hear about a place where somebody might have found a cure. So they go to it.
New Jersey, by the way.
New Jersey, which they make so many jokes about New Jersey. They're like, God,
why do they hate us?
Worse? I don't know. Like Happy said something like, I don't know what's worse, the zombie apocalypse or having to drive to New Jersey.
Why do they hate us? Why do people from New York hate us?
They end up taking a train. Some people die. And
Happy died. And
Happy dies.
He goes bam, 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 and he goes, and even as a zombie goes bam, bam.
Yeah.
I'm like.
Yeah, it's great. Some of the Avengers actually die, like because they kill some of the actual zombie characters.
Yeah,
they're dead. But so they end up finding out that when they get to this place, it's Vision.
Vision
who's been working on a cure. So he actually saved Paul Rudd's character, and he has just this head like Futurama. He's in a jar, basically.
I mean, Paul Rudd was always ahead of the game.
Okay. Okay.
You know, between me and Derek, we make terrible puns, right?
Mm-hmm. So basically, they get there to Vision, and if they find out that he's like keeping what's her face, the Scarlet Witch,
Wanda,
trapped there.
Yep.
Because he's been feeding her people so that she can stay alive. Well,
yeah. Then you also find out he's just been.
This is a Walking Dead plot.
Yeah.
Because the second season of The Walking Dead, the first. I forget when they get to Herschel.
Herschel's the second season.
Yeah. So like they keep their family members and they're like feeding them things, and it's kind of fucked. But it's fine. So basically, because he wants to try and save her.
You find T'Challa there.
But the reason why he can't save her is because she's too strong and she's rejecting the
cure.
Yeah, the cure. So they end up leaving with like the substance of they can maybe make a cure that can help everybody.
Don't just so you know, don't forget who was actually the person that was being fed. T'Challa, his leg.
Oh, right, yeah.
How fucked up was that when you saw T'Challa with his leg being cut off?
Yeah. So, a lot of messed up stuff happens. Like,
like Winter Soldier killing himself to stop zombie Captain America. Hope dies. Oh, here's something that I really reference because people don't believe that Uncle Ben is dead in the MCU. Mm-hmm. They mentioned Uncle Ben actually by name for the first time actually in the show. Yeah. He said Uncle Ben. So all you people that think Uncle Ben is not dead, you can be satisfied he got a third bullet in his chest. I'm not even kidding. Like, I found out people don't think he's not dead.
Yeah, no, he's dead. Okay.
No, he's dead.
They just wanted to skip it. Like, yeah. How many times do we have to see Uncle Ben die? Come on.
Please don't kill me. Oh, my God.
Like, your great responsibility and things and stuff. All right.
It's like trying to put down your dog.
Stop.
It feels
that's
like
the next. They should have did that. Like, what if Uncle Ben didn't die?
That would be a good one. Yeah.
That
played by Tobey Maguire.
But I'm sure that they would have had to clear that with whatever. But they would have cleared it.
Oh no, they have the rights to anything.
Oh right, I forgot. Yes.
So they can just do that if they want to.
Right. So okay. So they I forget where it goes.
It goes to like Wakanda, and then you find out the zombie virus somehow spread it to Thanos, and Thanos has this.
And that's where it ended, right?
Yeah, and they had the Soul Gem.
They never actually saved the world.
Never did. That's another WT. But that does come back actually later.
So the Nexus event, or the event was, what if, they didn't say, what if, she was infected and they brought her back?
That was.
What if the Hank Pym, like, saving his wife went wrong?
Yeah. So here comes the next one. This one I think is like one of my personal favorites. Just because Michael B. Jordan's in it, and I love that man. Because he's a respectable actor. What if Killmonger rescued Tony Stark?
This is another kind of fucked one. Actually, I forgot about. This one's kind of bad also.
This one, people get mad because they're like, then death threat the mark because you have Tony Stark die in every MCU.
So, what happens here, the event that they're talking about, is in the first Iron Man movie, when Tony Stark is... Yeah, when Tony Stark is in, where he's showing off the weapons, like, Killmonger is stationed close near there. And instead of him getting taken by the rings or whatever they're called.
He just grabs that missile. And
he basically saves him, kills all the people that are trying to take him. And then Tony Stark rewards him, makes him, so they come back. Tony Stark never needs to build an Iron Man.
Yep.
So he never becomes Iron Man. So he rewards Killmonger, makes him part of the company, originally just security. Then he ends up saving him again, and because he found out about what the third Iron Man is. It the third or the second Iron Man movie's about the other owner of Iron Man that he's like a bad guy. The other owner of Iron Man. Is that the second or that's the second?
The second one. If you're talking about Justin Hammer, yeah.
Yeah. No, Justin Hammer was the. No, he was the second Justin Hammer. Yeah.
No, you're talking about the other one, Whiplash. He made an Iron Man suit.
Which movie is it in where like Tony's like own partner was bad, like in the company, in the Stark company? Is that the second one where they make their own reactor and like they have to blow it up?
Oh no! Oh no, that's like in the first Iron Man movie where they try to make an arc reactor like his.
But hold on, there's hold on, I gotta find it. there's that guy that plays the character, like he ends up being bad, like part of the Stark company. They show him in the show.
Ironmonger. Yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah. Obadiah Stane. He's in the first one.
Yeah, Obadiah Stane. Yeah.
Played by Jeff Bridges.
Yes.
And Jeff Bridges came out for that one
Was
too.
that the first one that happened in?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it's hard to remember because those are so old.
Yeah.
I've not watched that in God knows how long. So like
Disney Plus, man.
Yeah, exactly. Like, but
Obadiah Stane gets outed by
Killmonger like right away. So that all that stuff never happens.
Yep.
So again, he saves Tony. So he makes him the like CFO of the company. Like,
yeah.
So the new big partner of the company. So they hang out a lot. They drink, and then he starts talking about how.
Also, funny fact: Don Cheadle came back for this one, but he's replacing Terrence Howard. And
yeah, he is.
I find it funny. That's why.
Yeah. And then also Happy's there too. Happy doesn't end up becoming the head of security.
That was my job promotion.
Yeah, and Piper's there also.
I remember Happy Hogan saying that.
Yeah, so basically it goes in the direction that they become really good friends, and they like Killmonger has a conversation, and he's like, if I could, I'd take all the soldiers out of deployment and just put like drones. He's like, I worked on it a long time ago when I was in college, but like it never got funded or like it was too hard to make. And he's like, well,
let me take a look at that.
Yeah, well, that's kind of noble, so let's do it. And so instead of the
want me to tell you my favorite reference, what he said when he actually looks at the designs and everything?
What?
No, this looks like a really expensive Gundam model.
Yeah.
I was like, I bet you Michael B. Jordan wrote that in there. I bet you anything.
Yeah.
Because he loves anime.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me if they were like, who would you put in this? Gundam? Okay.
Yeah, so they end up building it.
Yep.
And a lot of the same scenes from Iron Man.
And Black Panther.
Just like a fun little mix of that. But instead of it being a wearable suit, it's like a drone.
Yep.
Or, more like how it is in
Iron Man 2.
Or Infinity Wars, how the drones are. After all that happens, they find out that they need vibranium to be able to power it.
And he has his ring.
Because, he didn't make which is funny because they made a joke. He's like, I could try to make a mini arc reactor, but he's like, I don't think that that's possible. He's like, they make a joke about what his original thing was actually made out of. And then he's like, no, that's not possible. Then they're like, let's go get vibranium. Because Michael B. Jordan, because, he knows about vibranium because he's, of Wakanda.
And he's a descendant of Wakanda, but he's never been to Wakanda.
Yeah, because he has a little piece of vibranium that he keeps on him.
Andy Serkis came back for that one.
So basically this is also a universe where Stark gets his hands on vibranium way earlier than he normally would.
Yeah.
So they end up going to that guy that's in a lot of the movies.
Andy Serkis.
Who dies in the
Ulysses Claw.
Yeah, he dies.
I didn't have to remember. I didn't have to look that up either, which is amazing.
He dies in Black Panther, right?
Yep.
Because he's killed by Killmonger.
Yep. And same thing happened.
Yeah, but we're getting there.
But with a twist.
So with so they go to buy vibranium off of him, which is funny because they have Rhodey do it, make it seem like the government is for doing it, like it's like a peaceful thing with another country. Rhodey ends up getting killed.
Yep.
Which makes
T'Challa came in too.
Yeah, which makes T'Challa shows up and T'Challa ends up getting killed by Killmonger because he has that anti-vibranium that Stark ray, that sound thing.
Yes.
He kills him and Rhodey, takes the vibranium. Iron Man finds out about it because you can't really hide anything from Tony Stark.
That's like a thing that you never can do.
Yeah, so they end up
Come on,
fighting.
we watched the first Avengers. We saw him do it.
They end up fighting, and then Killmonger kills Tony Stark.
Scars himself.
Yep. And then he ends up working with the guy that sold him the vibranium again. He gets him to Wakanda, kills him. Yep, and then gets into Wakanda, ends up becoming the king of Wakanda, and sends the U.S. government to come and fight Wakanda.
Well, no, this is before he gained their trust.
Because he blamed Black Panther for killing Rhodes.
Yeah, and then vice versa. But
yeah.
he doesn't become king of Wakanda. He doesn't do that. He doesn't get the mantle.
Well, he just
after. I'm just correcting you.
After they fight the robots, the drones that come in.
But we're not going to spoil what happened with that.
Because funny, he lets he makes them open the shield, and then they end up. He's the one that turns them on to make them trust him. He's like the most manipulating piece of shit of all time. And
but I love that man though for some odd reason.
And then he ends up becoming Black Panther.
Yep.
Because they end up trusting him. So.
Yep. And then it ends with like Shuri, which she's a little girl and
goes and sees Piper.
Piper.
Piper. I don't know why I say Piper.
I don't know. Pickle Pepper?
Yeah, Pepper. Yeah.
Yeah, she just Pepper and just says, "Yeah, there's something up with this." And they're like, "I fucking knew it."
Yeah. And then it ends there.
Yeah.
They never get retribution or anything.
Yeah, which we just so you know, all these endings do get kind of resolved a little bit to the end. Now this one, I think my personal favorite, and I feel like you agree with me. What if Thor was an only child?
Oh yeah, this one leads to it's kind of funny.
This one is like a happy go.
After the three ones that are like murder the Avengers, this one's like Party Thor.
Yeah, that's literally what he's nicknamed in the show. Like
Party Thor.
Everybody says it. Like not just Emergency, also like Comic Cast.
So instead of in the first Thor movie. He never ends up losing his hammer or his privilege. Yep. He just ends up showing up on Earth saying that we saved the universes, so basically party for us, like pay,
we're here to make you party.
And then
Dad's asleep, by the way.
So Jane ends up finding like the signatures of like that they showed up, so she goes and investigates.
Which is in Las Vegas.
Yeah, they ended up meeting. Like their characters ended up meeting, and he ended up liking her, just it's a different take. Yeah, but all of his other friends came also, like the other.
The Skrulls came in. Yeah. Almost everybody, even Howard the Duck.
Yeah, so everybody partied, and he's like Party Thor.
Yeah.
I forget what else happens in this one.
Howard the Duck married Jane's friend.
Yeah,
which was funny. I was like, what?
Wait, Kat Dennings?
Yes.
I forgot about that.
She had all the Thor characters, all the characters that were in Thor actually reprised the role for that one.
Yeah.
Oh my God, they would just party all around. I think one of the funny things, they got tattoos, magic, science.
And
then oh my God, my favorite part, I loved it. And you know which one I'm going to talk about.
Oh, Loki was even there.
Yeah. Oh, and he was a frost. Remember, Loki's this frost giant, so he's like.
So the blip. What the blip is before we get onto that. So, the blip or the point.
The Nexus event.
Yeah, is instead of them taking Loki in, they just give him back to their father.
Yeah, which does fuck up the continuity a little bit if you actually read everything. But it's like, what if? Shut up.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah,
that's what I always say.
Yeah, so you can continue about that. So Loki shows up.
Loki shows up, and remember, they're not brothers. So Thor goes.
But they're friends, though.
No, I gotta get to that.
Go ahead, yeah.
He goes, I smell that icicle pops in somewhere. Thor, and they'll say, "Yo, Loki, bro, you came."
It's funny.
Brothers for life.
That them never being brothers makes them closer. Yeah. It's kind of funny.
I was just like. Oh,
they don't need their parents to get killed for them to get along.
No, I was just like, I love this episode.
It's great. It was definitely a nice cleanser for the past 3 episodes.
Yes,
where it's just all murder and sadness.
Ending at WTF.
Yeah, and with no resolutions for like the past 3 episodes, like.
Yeah, and then like Nick, by the way, Jane calls Shield, and then Shield's like, "Oh, they thought they were just doing Frank." Go like, "No," and then all of a sudden Nick Fury's like, "What? I'm Maria Hill. I'm in charge. What happened to Nick Fury?" "Hey, you! Whoa!" I still remember that. So Nick Fury is like unconscious right now or dead.
Mm-hmm.
I think most likely unconscious. We're just gonna say that for
because he never really dies.
Yeah.
Every time we've thought Nick Fury dies, he doesn't die.
Yeah, he always has an eye on somebody.
Mm.
That bad pun.
Oh man.
Yeah.
But yeah, there wasn't a lot that really happened in it. Like
it was just a
really
fun episode.
Working on Jane, like he worked on his relationship with Jane, like just making her trust him, and like it
was just a fun episode, which is nice. They really did. By the way, before we get to the next episode, because of the WT ending, did you know we are actually missing an episode?
We're supposed to get 10.
Yeah, but because of COVID, we actually what would happen if Tony Stark was on Chikara instead?
What?
Yeah. So they were like, either we cut the Ultron episode that leads up to the party, or we go to Chikara. I agree with them. They're gonna bring that up. They're gonna bring it back though.
That's cool.
He had like a Hulkbuster armor made out of junk and everything. You actually do get to see it because it was cool. Supposed to be part of episode 10. That's why I kind of was mentioning it here right now. So that way it flows with
the War Planet.
The next one, which is what
and
if
Jeff Goldblum's character?
Yeah, which will flow into the next one. What if Ultron won?
So
this is the one that goes.
Yeah.
There's a WTF ending where Ultron's drones come in. It's WTF, not depressing. After all the things with Thor partying.
Yeah. So basically, this is if the
we're not gonna spoil much of that because if you want to watch that, not the Ultron one, but the party Thor. I feel like everyone should just watch that episode.
Yeah, because there isn't really much to it to talk about. Like, there's just
a lot of stuff that's just funny
not a
to
lot
watch.
Changed. It was just kind of like a fun episode to watch. Like,
yeah. By the way, one more thing before we go there, I did love when he had to clean up the earth.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, but then at the end of that, Ultron appears
so
and
the Nexus event is he gets Vision's body.
Yep.
So Black Widow fails. He gets Vision's body, and just starts picking off the Avengers.
Yep.
And he ends up actually getting all the time stones.
And
he
nuked the planet first.
Right.
Then
he ends up getting all the stones.
He also has a feeling of he has his mission accomplished. Then Thanos appeared and then got the time stone. All the stones, built an armor of himself around Ultron's body, and now he's like, finally, I can bring peace to our time to every planet.
This is where the actual plot of What If shows up.
Yeah, where all the stories meld.
Yeah. So he wins convincingly. Like Kyle said, nukes the planet, ends up with all the stones, and then ends up just being alone. But he notices that somebody is watching him, and he actually sees the Watcher. The second person to be able to do it.
Yep.
Because at this point, like, he ends up being like close to an omniscient being, like kind of like what the Watcher is, but a little bit stronger than him. Actually, much stronger than him.
Oh God, yeah.
Because
much stronger.
Vision's body with the Mind Stone, let alone, and then having all the other stones, pretty much makes him one of the strongest things, ever. And so he actually ends up going where the Watcher is, and starts breaking universes.
And going through universes and
the Watcher, so him and the Watcher actually get in a fight. And like, the Watcher's just talking about how, like, he never gets involved, and like, but the Watcher's still kind of like a badass. He still fights him pretty well.
He gets armor too.
Yeah, he keeps getting away from him and like, showing his powers a little bit. But
they do make it, by the way, in one of the scenes, they do make a reference to the Ultimate Universe of Marvel. Did you know that in the Ultimate Universe of Marvel, Captain America does become president?
That's kind of funny.
Yeah, so if you actually look in the background, Times Square, he says, "I, President Steve Rogers." Last time I was like, oh my God, it's a reference.
Yes.
Sometimes, what's funny is nobody didn't even notice that in like any of the YouTube channels. I was like, why are you not mentioning this?
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple funny, like, president, like, I remember, is it like the House of M?
Yeah.
Magneto becomes president or something?
He becomes the ruler of the planet, pretty much.
Yeah. So, like,
Also, in that by the way, this episode also we have like, because it is kind of important. We got Black Widow and Hawkeye with a new arm.
Yeah.
But they're trying to find a way to stop Ultron, even though he's all sentient. But he's still a computer program, so he does have.
Oh right, I forgot about that. So they were still alive in.
But we can skim it like in the best way.
Yeah. So basically, I actually forgot that there were still two people. So yeah, in that episode, he's basically got the stones at that point, and they do the thing that they did in the movie where they went to the Russian.
Yep, and got Armzilla.
Yeah, Armzilla. Yeah, which it's funny because it leads. So Clint ends up dying in that facility because the drones show up.
The Watcher was trying to intervene, by the way.
Yeah, but he chose not to.
He was like, "Come on, you're so close."
Yeah, because they were looking at the files.
Yeah, come on.
And then they found the facility, and Black Widow gets the download. Clint dies in that facility, and then hold on, Siri, don't ask.
Yeah, sorry about that, everybody. It's sometime during podcast. I'm just why I don't put my phone on do not disturb.
Yeah, Siri. So they end up getting the virus,
which is made by
Ultron. But Ultron sees the Watcher first, and they get in a fight before she even has a chance. And they're like breaking through universes, and he's crushing them in his hand, and they're just busting through universes like it's nothing, having like a crazy fight. And it ends with him losing and then just hiding and like running away.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I think I actually need to break my rule and ask for help.
Break his vow.
Yeah, and ask for help.
And that's where it goes into what if, and I don't even have to memorize, I don't even have to look at my phone. Mm-hmm. What if the Watcher breaks his vow?
Yeah.
So that's the reason, so the reason I mentioned the Sakaar thing was because one of the characters that we actually met in this episode is from that episode, which is Gamora with Thanos' armor.
Yeah. And
if you watch the episode, he's actually gathering all the Guardians of the Multiverse, or in the comics they're called the Exiles. But I figure I just go through like the games, we start off with that. Why I mentioned it, it ends with we pretty much know how it ends. It ends with Tony Stark and Gamora getting off Sakaar. So they were probably in the battle and everything. You actually see him. So that night, and in that scene, that's where she's from.
Yeah.
But I was like, the one thing I was really weird about is why don't you take Tony Stark too? Take two heroes.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like Gamora's better. Okay, whatever.
I guess. But
they gather everybody up.
So they gather T'Challa, Starlord T'Challa.
Killmonger.
They gather the Dark
Doctor Strange. Actually, before that episode happened, he said he needed help, and I was like, I need to break my vow. And Doctor Strange says, I need your help. And boom, that's how we go into this episode. So you got Doctor Strange, and then we get a little scene from.
We get Peggy Carter.
We get Peggy Carter, but she's in her Winter Soldier costume. So we kind of get that neat one for one everything. They actually got that same actor who that she was fighting from Winter Soldier to come back.
Yeah. Who else did we get?
We got Gamora. We got.
Is that everyone?
Party Thor too. That's the only one.
Party Thor. Yeah.
We got. How we get missed Party Thor?
Yeah.
So they all were coming up with plans. Some of the funniest things that happened in that episode, like the pub, giving Thor the the never-ending alcohol.
Oh yeah.
And my favorite, Chinese food, the best Chinese food in the multiverse.
Because they were making a plan in a Nexus place or in a side place. So when someone tried someone tried to step out of the door, and it was just nothing.
Thor, the best example.
Yeah, it is great.
Yeah, I'm glad they got Chris Hemsworth to come back for that.
Yeah. But so they devise a plan, and it's not a great plan.
It's a plan
until they randomly come across Black Widow.
Don't forget, Gamora's. Their original plan was they had the Infinity Crusher.
Yeah.
Which it's powered. They would have to get the Soul Stone, but then it'd be powered to turn the Infinity Stone into dust.
It was made to beat Thanos, basically.
Yeah.
But since it's a different universe, it didn't end up working.
No.
Because it was made to work with that world's stones. But They just happen to be on the universe that Black Widow was the only character still alive, and
she had a
just
plan.
happened to have the arrow with Armin Zola, or the Nazi guy.
Yep, Armin Zola.
Yeah. And so it led to that.
Yep.
So they changed their plan to fighting him and infecting him with the virus, and it actually worked.
Yeah, but then Killmonger went. No.
Tried to take all the stones.
And he was. I get his intent though. He was trying to be like, we can restore the universes, man. Like he was trying to be like, I have a good heart, but you killed Iron Man.
Yeah. He takes all the stones. What happens after that?
Oh yeah, they were never meant to defeat Ultron. Ultron, Zoloft took over Ultron's Vision body. Ironically, stomach.
Yeah.
And Thor starts puking, stomach face. But Doctor Strange said we were never meant to destroy. We were never meant to defeat Ultron. We were meant to contain the Infinity Stones.
So
Revelations.
And the blip, like the point here, is Watcher breaking his vow.
Yeah.
Because this is like kind of all over the place.
Oh yeah.
And that's like the only
It's not really an exit event. It's more like, no, the Watcher's just gonna break his vow.
Yeah, exactly. So.
But like
what ends up happening with this? What do they do with the stone? Does T'Challa or does Killmonger just take it and?
He takes it, tries to talk them to his side, and then Zoloft is like, no, those are my stones. And Doctor Strange says, we were meant to contain the stones. So what he does, he puts them in a pocket dimension.
Right, yeah.
And they're in a never-ending fight over the stones now.
Yeah.
And that's how they stop. That's how they stop Ultron.
They all get sent back to their universes.
Yeah, well, Doctor
Strange gets sent back to his little pocket dimension.
With it watching over a pocket dimension. Which it's kind of fitting because it's kind of like he says he has nothing but time, but also
it's also his punishment for breaking that universe.
Sort of like what was his name?
Because technically, if he could have just
Pariah.
Because technically, if he could have just got over himself, like that's a better version of Doctor Strange with his hands.
Yeah.
So like, it's just he fucked it. Like
no, he's doing the pariah thing where he's just gonna watch something from Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yes.
I was trying to think of a good way of saying what happened to him. He fucked up, but he's like, I figured.
And that's where it goes.
Yeah, and then everybody got sent back to their space except for the one Age of Ultron, Black Widow. She got sent to where an Earth with,
with the Avengers. Where on their Earth Black Widow.
The murder mystery one.
Yeah.
And Nick Fury's like, you're not mine, Natasha, but I feel like I can trust you.
Yeah. Nick Fury's just that good.
And then
that he knew right away.
Yeah.
He's so good.
Yeah, and then we got here's a good one. The Watcher makes a new vow saying he'll protect the multiverse while watching it. Which is great, which means we're gonna be seeing new stuff from like everything we've seen so far.
I cannot wait for that to get into an actual like MCU
they said some of these characters are going to be in live action. We are going into the multiverse, so I would not be.
If they did it in Loki, they're going to do it in other things.
Yeah.
Except the character that watched the timeline was different than the Watcher. That was what was the guy's name from Loki?
Oh,
it was Kang.
He who shall remain. Who he who remains. Like it's a version of Kang. Though,
it's Kang. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, I'm just saying that I'm just giving him the name. Like that's what he called it. He who remains or something. And that's pretty much Kang at the end of his life. But Marvel What If was really good. Actually, we've got one more thing. The post-credits scene for this episode. They did a post-credits scene for this one where we find out she goes back to where she goes, and Black Widow says, "Hey, I think I found something for you," and it's the Hydra Crusher. So we might be getting a Winter Soldier What If, or if I'm hearing right, maybe a spin-off series of Peggy Carter. Maybe.
We'll see.
I want to see what happens after that.
Yeah, honestly.
Like
they wouldn't put it if they didn't mean to do something with it.
I mean, come on, I want to see it. Like so, but what they're going to be doing, they said, since we got Shang-Chi and all these other characters, we'll do What Ifs for those too.
I think this is a really good place to start going into Eternals.
Oh yeah.
Because that's probably going to get into this a lot.
Yeah.
Because that's like ancient. Like it's it's more ancient than Shang-Chi. Like they've been around for thousands and thousands of years. So.
And here's a better idea: if you watch Loki, watch this immediately.
Mm-hmm.
You get an idea of like how bad the timeline can actually get.
I suggest to watch all the shows. They're very good.
Oh yeah, but I'm gonna say if you're watching Loki, you got to go watch this like immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And they're only half an hour, thank God.
Yeah, it's really easy to consume. Yeah,
it's really like once I told you, like, wait, they're that easy to consume. Like, yeah. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I would rate. What would you give this a rating of out of 1 out of 5 star?
All of What If?
Yeah, as a series.
Probably like a 4 or 5.
I would say I'm going to go with a 4. So
yeah, like probably like a 4 or 5. It's definitely close to a full good rating.
It has its problem.
Rating it on the as an animated, because you can't rate it like compared to some of the.
You got to rate it like as a show.
Yeah, so not even comparing it to like as an animated show, it's definitely high.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun, and if you watched Loki, it's a really fun thing to watch after.
Oh yeah, especially when you find out you want to be curious about all these like branching paths you find out about.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god.
And with Doom Patrol that I've been watching recently, like all this stuff just feels kind of normal to me compared to what happens on that.
Oh man, I cannot wait to talk about Doom Patrol with you with that one.
Yes,
yeah, you're just glad I told you about these shows. You're just like, I hate you at the same time with Doom Patrol.
Yeah.
I mean, I've shown our friend Bronson the one scene with Danny.
The flex. When he flexes on, yeah.
Yes. Remember I showed you that? He was just like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
And he's like, did she just say
But it was cool that was the first thing that Brendan Fraser had done in a really long time. He got really emotional about it because it was the first thing that anybody accepted him for. Yep. And he got extra emotional when he got into that movie recently.
Yep.
Because that was the first film that finally took him after all the bullshit happened with his wife.
Yep.
Like where she basically was abusing him and like all that crazy stuff.
Yeah.
So like, good for him.
Yeah,
he's great. He's like probably the best character in that show next to Jane, maybe. But like,
I agree on that one.
Yeah. Like he's great. I love him.
Yeah, like believe it or not, watch Mojo. They put him as an honorable mention, but they said the funny bone of the show, and I was like, yep,
he really is.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have anything else you want to say about it?
Nah, that's probably much good. But Titan's gonna be ending, so I'll probably have you for that one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we always talk about these shows, but our timing always never is good, so we try to work on everything.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? This has been the Mediaverse podcast. Signing out. Like, favorite, subscribe. If you don't, I will kill him. I will. I have a shank and everything.